Hey YouTube, Rector here, back with a Labrynth deck profile for you guys. I just picked this deck up and it's been super fun playing around with. This is going to be a Furniture Lab version. I've got a lot of engine in here, and as you can tell by the Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon here, it is also playing the Equation Cannon trap. So that is one thing that I have seen people play around with and looks super fun, and in testing it's been so interesting to try to be able to play around with how many cards are on the board to get a perfect equation cannon math, and the fact that it's actually a lot simpler than you'd think. But without further ado, let's hop into the deck. So first, the engine. We are playing a lot, so I'm playing 3 Chandragleer, 3 Stovey Torby, 3 Kuklok, 3 Ariana, 3 Lady, and 1 Lovely. I do know that it's a lot of engine, but I do like being able to always open 2 or 3 of the Labrynth engine to always get the ball rolling. Because once you get everything started with the lab engine, they can search out and get you all the interaction you could possibly want. And I really like this version of the deck that plays so much engine and is like more of a Labrynth deck as opposed to a trap pile. It is just super fun. But yeah, 3 of both furnitures and 3 Kuklok. And I'll say right now I'm playing 3 of each Welcome Lab. So the odds of opening Kuklok, if you open Kuklok, the odds of opening a way to a Welcome Lab trap is super high, with 3 of each trap, 3 of each furniture, and Ariana to search a furniture is just super crazy. But yeah, this is and even the 3 Lady is super nice, because going first you can just use your furniture and then immediately get a Lady out, so that on your opponent's turn you can immediately get a set off of the Lady, which is super nice, especially if you compare it with the Kuklok. But yeah, so that is the engine that I'm playing. That's all the monsters until the hand traps. Then for traps, we are playing, again, 3 big welcome, 3 welcome, along with 3 rollback, which I love rollback, super fun. And in formats where everyone plays imperm, it also, worst case scenario, set it, copy an opponent's used up imperm, which is super nice. But it's super good to have with all the furniture in the deck. You have 6 furniture plus Ariana, so 9 ways to open a furniture. So if you open furniture plus rollback, it's just super nice to have double access to your Welcome Lab cards. And I am maxing on the Welcome Lab cards because I like the super high engine variant. It's super nice to be able to get into all of your both of your big Labrynth monsters, and then also have more ways into like Arianas and furnitures. But then I'm only actually playing 6 high impact removal trap cards, but it doesn't actually feel all that low in testing. Like, I always am able to either draw one of these or draw enough engine to get to Lady to get to one of these, which is 3 Karma Cannon and 3 simultaneous equation cannons. And that is our entire trap lineup. It is fairly compact compared to most Labrynth versions. Actually, we are playing the 3 Imperm, so that does help out a little bit. But other than that, it's not a super high trap count, but that's because it's mostly like super combo-y, and you're going to be controlling the board with like lovely popping a whole bunch of cards turn after turn, and getting your just like building up your board, and you only need 1 trap a turn if you're getting Karma Cannon and Equation Cannon, because those cards just wipe boards completely. So the Equation Cannon is actually a lot simpler than you'd think. Once you like sit down and look at it for a little while, like it probably took me like somewhere in the 20-30 minutes to really figure out a method to do it. But it is super good. Any card that says banish your opponent's entire field is good somewhere for sure. So yeah, that is the trap roll. That it genuinely doesn't end up feeling like not enough traps, especially with the imperms. So that's with imperms, that's 6 3-ofs, so 18 traps, which is still nearly half the deck. Yeah, so that is the traps. And then for non-engine, I'm on currently 3 nib, 3 droll, and 3 imperm. I know that nib is often not as great into Ryziel, so I was debating about it, but I really like playing the 3 imperm as trap cards to help with the engine, and then droll and nib as like 2 super high impact non-engine. Because we're only playing 9 non-engine, it is nice to have the high impact ones, and against any deck but Ryziel, it's usually fairly useful. And then droll obviously is going to be super good this format, especially against Ryziel, just because like if they normal summon and search off their normal summon, you just droll, and then they can't use their duo drive or anything like that, which is super good. And a lot of the engine in this deck actually has favorable interaction with Detonator, which is interesting, because say you start with like a furniture, you activate the furniture to set the trap. They have to chain link to their detonator. So at that point, if you start with a furniture, you don't have anything on board. Then on their turn, when you activate your Welcome Lab card, if you just have the Welcome Lab card, they still can't really detonator, because it's just, they're just going to be removing the trap card. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Or with like Lady, if you're grabbing the out to it, like Karma Cannon or Equation Cannons, you activate a trap with Lady on board, like, yeah, they can destroy the Lady, but they can't get rid of the answer that you're searching with it. So it's super neat that there's a lot of good interactions into Detonator. It does get annoying sometimes, but obviously it's Detonator, it's going to be annoying. But droll really helps stop a whole lot of the other engine. So yeah, that's the main deck. The extra deck for the Equation Cannons, I am playing 2 rank 3s, 2 rank 4s, 2 rank 5s, and 2 rank 6s. then levels 1 through 7 of fusions. So if you don't know what Equation Cannons does, you need to banish 2 Xyz with the same rank and a fusion monster whose ranks and level sorry about that, add up to the total number of cards in both players' fields and hands. So say there's 13 cards on the board, or 13 between the board and the hands, then you could do 2 5s and a 3, or 2 6s and a 1. Then you have to return one of the 2 Xyz monsters and the fusion monster back to the extra deck to add to the level of a monster your opponent controls. So if there's 13 cards and your opponent has a level 8, you would do 2 rank 5s and a 3, because then that's 13, and then the 3 and the 5 add to 8. So it is a lot simpler than people would like claim it to be, but it definitely takes a little bit of like sitting down and really thinking about, okay, if there's this number on the field and this level, then this. And most numbers of cards on the field have a couple different level options. So like, say we keep with the 13 cards, that is a 6 and a 1, or 2 6s and a 1, 2 5s and a 3, or what is it, 2 4s and a 5, or 2 3s and a 7. So all 13 is a good number for the Equation Cannon because you have 4 options, which is a level 7, a level 8, a level 9, and a level 10. So any level from 7 to 10 that they have, if there's 13 cards, you have an Equation Cannon. So it is definitely takes practice, but this is what I threw in here. The only thing that really matters, because you're not hardly going to summon any of these, the ones that are potentially summonable are the 4s. So I just did that because Ariana. So you have a Baguska to go into, or if you need a way to go for game, you can Raider's Knight into Arc Rebellion. And so depending on the matchup, whatever you think you'll need, if you need to use a rank 4 Equation Cannon line, then one of these gets returned to the extra deck, so you can just return whichever do you think that you'll need in the matchup, and then double Arc Rebellion, because then you always have one. Yeah, so that's the extra deck. Let's show off the side deck. This is kind of just what I've got right now. I haven't actually gone to locals since Raizio released last week, but I have a general idea of how I plan on doing it. So I've got, firstly, 3 Mourner for more on-the-spot removal, which I think probably will come up with, what's it called? The Search 2 Raziel. Same with the Ash Blossom. But obviously any deck that is search heavy or needs a little bit more spot negation, these are going to be super good into it. I do have the 3 Lancia for Malice. You guys know that I love high impact hand traps, and one that just says beat this deck period is pretty good. So I definitely like to have that as an option. And then also we've got 3 Ghost Bell, which can also be helpful against the Malice deck, but also any graveyard deck. So them trying to banish anything from the graveyard. I know that there's Bestial variants of the Malice deck, so that definitely helps shut those down. But yeah, and then the last ones are 3 Cosmic, if you happen to run into any Floodgate stuff. Most other just trap piles we're pretty good into, but Floodgates specifically, this is here to help with, because you need to be able to get through those to actually get your combos going, because we're such a monster heavy Labrynth build. But yeah, so that's the deck. It's been super fun playing around with. I love the high engine count in a trap based deck. It's just super fun to actually be able to do combos but still have like a set 5 moment from here to there. It is definitely a good time. I would totally suggest you trying it out. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about the deck. So this is Rogue Tier, signing out.